So this is the first episode of a series that I'm going to try to air every month or two. I'm still trying to work on the timing, where I'm going to talk about what I said or did or explained incorrectly in the videos. Get the idea of how extra credits at the end of their history video series will always have one titled, we lied or something to that effect. And also just to give them a quick shout out, I'm currently watching the series on Shaka Zulu. It's a blast. I've always learned a lot from their stuff, from their game design videos to their quick histories and their whole series and stuff like that. So if you guys like that sort of thing, if that kind of catches your ear, then I would highly suggest checking them out. Link's going to be in the doobly-doo. So anyways, in Extra Credits, Extra History series, they try to describe some ruler, some country, some epoch in time. And, at the end of that, they will invariably make some mistakes, or at least in the process of making those videos, they will invariably make some mistakes. And they set aside a video to describe what those mistakes were. At the very end, they'll say, here's what we got wrong, here's what we've come to realize was wrong, just so that way there isn't some sort of misinformation being propagated or something. Which is awesome, because people in my position, educators, we are not infallible. We do our best to try and get everything right, to say things carefully, but we are human. We are inevitably going to err. And it'll probably happen more frequently in an operation like mine. I mean, I'm a one-man show. All the script writing, the video production, the crappy animations, that's all me, as well as the research. So sometimes it's very difficult to get these things out, especially when working on a PhD. So it's going to happen, and I know that. Plus, I had my birthday this last week, and I had to help my parents move, and I am utterly inundated and damn near drowning in the work that has to be done to wrap up the semester. That's grading my students, that's submitting my own assignments, which is like 40 to 60 pages worth of writing. So I figured, why not just start the series that I've been mulling for a little bit, letting roll around the old noggin, as opposed to trying and failing to make a high-quality, original Professor Politics production. High quality. So first, let's start with the most popular video on the channel right now, and that is the Rick and Morty video. In that video, I incorrectly characterized the individuals who set the inflation rate in the United States. So in that video, I either intimated or outright said, I can't quite remember which at the moment, that the Treasury was the ones responsible for setting the inflation rate. I misspoke. That is incorrect. The entity that is actually responsible for setting the inflation rate in the United States is the Federal Reserve. Further, the Fed isn't purely a part of the government, right? I mean, like it is, but it isn't. It's like both public elements and quasi-private elements. It's a whole lot of interesting stuff that I'm going to definitely tackle in a video. It's gonna add that to the list of interesting video topics that's just piling up on my desk. Moving over to the Giving Teachers Guns video, I was informed by Helios Infinitus that there actually are a number of school districts in the United States that have allowed teachers to arm themselves for the protection of their students. He linked to a news story that reported on an independent school district in Texas that has been allowing teachers to be armed over the last few years. Just as the teachers can volunteer to be part of this Guardian program, and as members of this program, they have to undergo a yearly active shooter drill, as well as undergo routine firearm training, or at least undergo routine practice. So the fact that the volunteers are trained obviates some of the concerns that I had about the differences between amateur and professional individuals. However, there is still the fact that professionals have a pretty low accuracy rating in an active situation. I think, again, it was something like 20%. I frankly don't have time to do an in-depth investigation to see if this program has deterred crime in the local area, crime involving the school, surrounding the school, things like that. But from what I can gather from the article, it appears that there has not been a mass shooting since the program has been implemented. However, it also doesn't appear to be that the program was implemented due to a mass shooting at this school. It seems to be done in response to a different mass shooting. Again, I didn't get a chance to research which one in particular, or if it was one in particular. So it wasn't one. It was response to something like that, as opposed to something that actually happened on school grounds. But it is possible that those measures are a net positive, or at the very least, not a net negative. It would go against the grain of the research that I had managed to gather, but there are always exceptions to the rules, right, that we uncover in research that cause us to double back and look and see what other things are still out there. So I'd be curious to see if this is one of those cases as well. So turning to the Why Bad Guys Have British Accents video, I was informed by I'll Survive, as well as a close friend of mine who's more familiar with the UK, that I actually used the wrong flag within the video. So part of that was slightly intentional. Givers1495 actually mentioned in the comment section that there were some instances where I used that flag because I was only referring to England, and that was actually the appropriate flag for England. However, I also accidentally used it when I was referring to Great Britain. The frustrating thing is I actually had the Union flag in my video assets. I actually had that so I can make the subtle distinction between the England and the UK, because I like doing little subtle things like that, things that, you know, most people will never notice, but, you know, I know that I did. Except this time I didn't. It just totally slipped my mind. Mea culpa. In the latest video on whether or not you can buy a politician, Dorian Sapiens notes that both the auctioneering as well as the activism model both suggest that there should be some sort of correspondence between spending money and the sorts of views that ultimately get passed in Congress, despite what I might have stumbled through saying in the video. And he's absolutely right. I accidentally oversimplified an already overly simplistic model, and I accidentally misrepresented the conclusion. Auction model would suggest that there is an actual correlation between how much money is spent and the likelihood or the probability that a bill is passed that is in favor to an interest group. The activism model would suggest a relationship, not necessarily a correlation due to technical reasons, or at least statistical reasons. I can get into the technical and statistical reasons if anyone's interested, because I'm always interested to talk about statistics, but there is supposed to be a kind of correspondence in that as well. That correspondence isn't perfect because there is a strong moderating factor of district competition. I'm going to get to that in the next office hours. But yes, there is a relationship between interest groups and the laws that are passed in both models. In the activist model, or rather in the auctioneer model, it happens after the individual has been elected. In the activism model, it's in trying to get the individual elected. But it plays a role in both, absolutely. I know that this video was a bit erratic, right? Just kind of jumping from video to video outside, kind of rambly a little bit at times, and I apologize for that, but this is, as all things, is a work in progress. As I make this a regular series, everything will flow better, there'll become a sort of standardization, things will evolve into a template, and it'll all work out better, because I do want to make this a regular thing where we discuss the things that were initially wrong in the presentation, so that we can make sure that no misinformation is being propagated. It's all the time that we have for this series that is currently unnamed. If you have a potential name for this series, be sure to leave that down in the comment sections, as well as any thoughts that came up when we were talking about this, or any corrections to the corrections. Happy to read any or all of that, so leave them down in the comment section. Links for everything is always down in the doobly-doo, as well as links to the Facebook, the Twitter, and the blog. Look forward to seeing you guys out there as well. Enjoy this video, hope you consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by commenting down below, by sharing this video, by subscribing to the channel to stay in the loop for more awesome social science content is uploaded. And if you want to be guaranteed to be in the loop to make sure that you are actually in the know when the video is uploaded, be sure to click the bell icon as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.